Once upon a time, in a quiet little town surrounded by green fields and tall trees, there lived a man named Samuel. Samuel was known by everyone in the village. People often described him as kind, gentle, and hardworking. He worked as a carpenter and spent his days building houses, fixing furniture, and helping neighbors when they needed. His hands were rough from years of work, but his smile was soft. Many people respected him, and most of the villagers thought he was an honest, good man who lived a peaceful life. But Samuel had a secret. It was a secret so heavy that he hid it deep inside his heart. Nobody in the village knew, not his friends, not his neighbors, not even the women closest to him. The truth was that Samuel was married to two women at the same time, but neither woman knew the other existed. He lived two lives, switching between them, and for many years he believed he could carry this lie forever. Samuel's first wife was Anna. She was gentle, caring, and soft-spoken. Her laughter was like music, and her hands were always busy with cooking, cleaning, or sewing clothes for her children. Samuel had met Anna when they were young, long before he became known in the village. They fell in love quickly, and after only a short time, they married. Samuel and Anna built their life in a small, cozy house on the edge of the village. It was simple, but full of warmth. Anna loved Samuel with all her heart, and she trusted him completely. To her, he was not only a husband, but also her partner, her friend, and her protector. Their marriage seemed perfect. Together, they had two children, a boy named Peter and a girl named Ruth. The children filled the house with laughter and noise. Peter liked to play outside with sticks, pretending they were swords, while Ruth loved to draw pictures on scraps of paper with charcoal. Anna devoted herself to her family, and she believed Samuel was devoted too. She never doubted him, not even for a moment. To Anna, life was complete. But there was something Anna did not know. Samuel, despite being a loving husband and father in her eyes, had another wife. Her name was Miriam. Miriam was very different from Anna. Where Anna was quiet and soft, Miriam was strong, confident, and independent. She worked as a teacher at the local school. Every morning she stood before the children of the village, teaching them letters, numbers, and stories of the past. She believed in education and dreamed of giving children a better future. Samuel met Miriam many years after marrying Anna. He had gone to the school to repair a roof. While he worked, Miriam came outside and spoke with him. At first, it was simple, just small conversations about the weather or the children. But as time passed, their friendship grew into something deeper. Samuel told Miriam that he was single. He never mentioned Anna. He never mentioned the little house at the edge of the village. He never said the word family. Miriam, believing he was free, opened her heart to him. They fell in love, and without telling her the truth, Samuel married Miriam too. Miriam lived in a different part of the village, closer to the school. Her house was larger than Anna's, with a big yard where flowers grew in neat rows. Miriam had no idea that Samuel already had a wife and two children. To her, she was his only wife. She believed his weekends away were spent working in other towns or visiting relatives. Samuel was careful. He made excuses that sounded believable. Years passed, and Samuel continued his double life. On weekdays, he spent time with Anna and the children. On weekends, he went to Miriam's house, telling Anna that he had work far away. He moved between his two families with practiced ease. Each time he left one home, he carried lies with him. He promised himself he loved both women, but deep down, he knew he was deceiving them. For a long time, it seemed his secret would never be discovered. Both Anna and Miriam trusted him. Neither had any reason to doubt his words. But as the years passed, things began to change. Samuel's children grew older, and they started asking more questions. Peter asked why his father always disappeared on weekends. Ruth noticed that sometimes her father returned with the smell of strange soap or clothes that didn't belong to Anna. Samuel always had quick answers. I was working late, or I had to stay at a friend's house. The children accepted his words, but Anna began to wonder. Miriam also noticed odd things. Sometimes Samuel came late, his eyes tired, his shirt carrying the faint smell of bread as though he had been in another kitchen. Sometimes she asked why he never stayed with her during the week. He always gave her the same answer, "My work keeps me busy." Miriam, trusting him, accepted it. But doubts grew in both women's hearts. One day, when Samuel said he was leaving on a business trip, Anna decided to do something she had never done before. She wanted to know the truth about where he went. She had heard from a friend that Miriam, the school teacher, was hosting an event at her house. Curious and uneasy, Anna decided to visit. She told her children she was going to see a friend and would return soon. Anna walked across the village and knocked on Miriam's door. When Miriam opened it, both women froze. They had never met before, but in that instant, something felt wrong. They stared at each other, silent, searching for answers in each other's faces. Anna smiled nervously and spoke. "Hello, my name is Anna. I'm a friend of David's wife." The words slipped from her mouth awkwardly, her heart pounding. Miriam looked surprised. "I'm Miriam," she said slowly. "I'm married to Samuel. Is he with you?" Anna's heart dropped. Her voice shook. "What did you say?" "I'm his wife," Miriam repeated. "We've been married for years." Anna felt her knees weaken. Her world spun. She whispered, almost unable to breathe, "I'm his wife too. I've been married to him for years. We have 2 children together." Miriam's face turned pale. Her hands trembled. "What do you mean? All this time, you've been his wife?" "Yes," Anna whispered, tears filling her eyes. "He never told me about you." The 2 women stood in silence. Their hearts pounded. The air between them was heavy, thick with betrayal. Miriam sank into a chair, her face pale. "But he told me I was his only love. He promised me he was faithful." Anna shook her head, her tears falling. "He lied to both of us. I trusted him with my life." For hours they talked. They shared stories about their lives with Samuel, and the puzzle began to form. They realized how carefully he had lied, how many years he had built his double life. They both loved him deeply, but their love was built on lies. They sat together, broken, their voices shaking with pain. At last, Anna stood up. "We must confront him," she said firmly. "He cannot continue this." Miriam nodded, though her eyes were wet. "Yes, we need the truth." That evening, Samuel returned from his so-called trip. He walked into Anna's house, humming softly, carrying his tools. But when he stepped inside, his heart froze, sitting in the living room were Anna and Miriam together. "What is this?" he asked, his voice unsteady. "Why are you both here?" Anna's eyes burned with pain. "We know everything, Samuel. We know about each other." His face turned pale. His hands shook. He opened his mouth, but no words came. His carefully built world was crashing down before his eyes. Miriam spoke, her voice breaking. "How could you do this to us? How could you lie to us for so many years?" Samuel's eyes filled with tears. He tried to explain. I didn't mean for this to happen. I loved you both. I never wanted to hurt you." Anna's voice rose, full of anger and sorrow. "You didn't love us enough to tell the truth. You kept us both in the dark. You let us waste years believing your lies." He fell to his knees. "Please, forgive me." But the words were empty. Nothing could undo the betrayal. For hours they cried, shouted, and spoke. At the end, Samuel realized there was nothing left to save. That night, Anna left with her children. Miriam walked back to her house, her heart shattered. Both women knew they could never forgive him. Samuel was left alone in silence. The house that once held laughter now echoed with emptiness. He walked through the rooms, touching the chairs, the bed, the children's toys. Every corner reminded him of what he had lost. Days turned into weeks. Samuel tried to apologize. He wrote letters. He begged, but neither woman returned. His secret had destroyed everything. He worked as a carpenter still, but his hands felt heavier. The wood seemed harder, the nails sharper. He was no longer the respected man of the village. People whispered behind his back. Some pitied him, others despised him. At night, Samuel sat alone, staring at the empty chair across the table. He thought of Anna's gentle smile, Miriam's strong voice, Peter's laughter, Ruth's drawings. He thought of the life he had built and destroyed with his own lies. He had once believed he could love two women at the same time, but now he understood love built on lies cannot survive. Truth, no matter how painful, is the only foundation strong enough to last. Samuel's story became a quiet warning in the village. Parents told their children about him, about the man who tried to live two lives and lost them both. Some said he deserved it. Others said he had punished himself enough with his loneliness. Samuel himself carried the heaviest punishment, the memory of two women who once loved him and the knowledge that he had destroyed their trust forever. And so, Samuel lived the rest of his life alone, haunted by the secret he thought he could keep but could not.